The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
The role of a woman in the society is to submit. Birth control are the pills of the devil. Education is so fundamental to the development of a people. I'm murderous. Simple as that. What am I voting for? Voting will change nothing.
Tout le monde haïtien, como ye. God save the Queen.
Broadcasting live on a rainy day here in Nassau, Bahamas. Well, welcome to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker. I'm a Justice of the Peace here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And let me tell you, I don't know what Sebastian did with this studio, but in here is icy cold. So I'm cold, and I hope some of the women them will send some heat. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Freedom March. And throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, it appears that it is raining. So we'll talk a little about the weather. And then, of course, there are some other things on my mind, because tomorrow is Majority Rule Day, when thousands of Bahamians will celebrate it. And then there is a great and glorious march, which will commence from the old Taxico gas station opposite St. Barnabas Church. You got to be there by 7:30. And then after that great march, the government has announced that there will be a church service to celebrate Majority Rule at 10 a.m. at St. Francis Catholic Church. So there are some of the things that is happening. And of course, my spiritual advisor, Bradley Rule, I'm advised he's on his way. Bradley, take your time. You know how you Negroes drive. When it is raining, want speed. But please no speed, because the life you save might be your own. So folks, I'm a member of the local Catholic Christian community. And there's some things in the newspaper that has me upset. Have you seen the headline? Where the Negro FNMs are complaining about their Negro Prime Minister. He took them on a march over the Paradise Island Bridge in March of 2016. A number of them were arrested and charged. But the leader, he was not arrested, nor was he charged. But he made a solemn declaration. And what was that promise? He had promised that an FNM government would drop the charges. You hear what I tell you? And I'm going to produce the precedent to show you that notwithstanding what the Attorney General, Carl Bettel, is reported to have said, that the Prime Minister he can't do it. Well, I'll tell you how the PLP did it. When two Negroes were charged for carrying out political action by the FNM, and when the PLP came to power in 2002, Christie ordered that the charges be dropped. When Minister Manapman tell Carl Bettel to stop this nonsense and withdraw the charges. It's a very simple process. Other than that, I'm going to invite the protesters to picket minute. I'm going to invite the protesters to march on the Prime Minister. My God, Minister, aren't you going to keep your word? Oh boy, Anyway, I got Rodney Roberts' book here, and I'm going to take this and lick the F&M with it politically. Tomorrow, Majority Rule Day.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. I'm a Justice of the Peace here within the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And of course, I'm a member of the local Catholic Christian community. I welcome everyone who has joined Freedom March this afternoon. My spiritual advisor, Bradley Roll, is not yet in studio, so I shall read a message which will be taken from my missal celebrating the Eucharist. Well, today, as you are aware, is Tuesday, January 9th, 2018. This is the eve of Majority Rule Day. So let me read something, my people. My heart exults in the Lord. My horn is exalted in my God. I have swallowed up my enemies. I rejoice in my victory. The bows of the mighty are broken, while the tottering gird on strength. The well-fed hire themselves out for bread, while the hungry batten on spoil. The barren wife bears 7 sons, while the mother of many languishes. The Lord puts to death and gives life. He casts down to the netherworld. He raises up again. The Lord makes poor and makes rich. He humbles, he also exalts. He raises the needy from the dust. From the dung heap, he lifts up the poor, to seat them with nobles, and make a glorious home, and make a glorious throne their heritage. Hallelujah, hallelujah, amen. Well, folks, I was compelled to arrive at this studio perhaps almost 1.5 hours early because there were lots of rain. And I know my people, when it rains, they speed. And so I want people to understand the culture. Stop speeding when it is raining, because accidents can occur. And we don't want any accidents on our street. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at the weather report. I spoke to a Negro man in the island's nation's second city, Freeport, Grand Bahama, and he confirmed to me that it was raining. So I know that it is raining in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and here on the island of New Providence, it is also raining. I suspect, but I have no conclusive evidence, that it is also raining throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So let's look at the weather report. A severe weather warning is in effect for Bimini, Grand Bahama, Abaco, New Providence, Grand Bahama, Berry Islands, and their adjacent waters. At 1 p.m., observation, radar, and satellite imagery showed clusters of heavy showers and thunderstorms associated with a surface drought across the northwest Bahamas. The cluster is moving northeastwardly. Some of these showers and thunderstorms will be severe at times, causing strong gusty winds, dangerous lightning, heavy downpours, hail, and possible water spouts or tornadic activity. Boaters in the warning area should seek safe harbor, and residents in the warning area should stay indoors and away from windows when conditions worsen. Residents should not seek shelter under trees or in water, as these can become lightning conductors. Well, this was given to me by a Negro colleague of mine, and I do rely on him. So I didn't get this from Basil Dane, okay? I normally would get my weather report from him, like if I don't feel like going to Junkanoo. So this is what is here. Well, folks, tomorrow is Majority Rule Day. It is a national celebration. We, the Bahamian people, we will celebrate the 51st anniversary of Majority Rule. Last year, when the then governing Progressive Liberal Party, they organized a national march and parade. I was a senator, and I joined the then governing Progressive Liberal Party in that glorious march after 50 years of Majority Rule. This year, the Progressive Liberal Party stands in opposition, but the PLP must recognize who they are in history. In history, they are the protector, the defender, and the reminder to the nation of the virtue of majority rule. And they must continue to uphold the flame of majority rule. It is the PLP who built the modern Bahamas. And if the PLP does not respect the national flag and demonstrate the importance of the flag whenever it is conducting, organizing, or leading national events, do you think the Philistines want to remember this? It's the PLP. That is a historic fact. The good thing, however, is that many of those who are in the governing Free National Movement, they are the children of the PLP, the sons and daughters, the brothers and sisters of the PLP. So PLPs and FNMs and all Bahamians should join in celebrating majority rule. 51 years after the Bahamas has attained majority rule, my people, the Negro people who are in the majority, still has yet not achieved economic empowerment. The masses is still landless. The masses are still broke. The masses are still struggling to eke out, to etch out a little living. 51 years after majority rule, there has been no real land distribution. The people them ain't get no crown land. So the struggle for a better Bahamas continues. It is my hope and prayer that thousands of Bahamians will join in that glorious march tomorrow morning. Listen, it's the old Taxico gas station, that building there, opposite St. Barnabas Church on Wolf Road. Get there by 7 a.m. or 7:30 because the march starts at 8 a.m. It is a wonderful march, short though it may, but what will happen? We, those of us who understand sovereignty, who understand independence, who understand and appreciate emancipation and majority rule, will assemble and peacefully march in celebration. And then, once we would have arrived at the university by 10 a.m., Her Excellency Dame Margaret Pindling the Governor General. She will be at St. Francis, where the Bahamas government will hold a church service to commemorate majority rule. Isn't that wonderful? The PLP is organizing the march, and the FNM government will organize the church service. And it is my hope and prayer that I shall attend both of them. I call on Bahamians, come with your flag. Bring your flag. You hear me? Bring your flag. This is the flag of the modern Bahamas. We must celebrate this flag. And in all of our national festivities, bring your flag. You don't need the leader of the opposition and or the prime minister to tell you to bring your flag, because we all are equal partners in the ownership of this beautiful flag. You hear what I tell you now? Bring in the flag. Okay? I got my flag, and it is my hope that I shall bring my flag. These are historic events, and we should encourage our young people to participate, because as the history is taking place, I need the people them to document it. Some will play journalists and write about it. Others must play videographer and record the history. You got to record it. You know, get your smartphone, put on your video, bring your video camera, bring your iPad, and let's record it, because there is a generation who will take over, and they need to know what has taken place. I just thought that I needed to promote majority rule. The 51st anniversary, will you be there? I call on the woman there as your leader. You have to come out and march, because in this march tomorrow, I want to demonstrate to the world that there is gender equality, because I'm a man who leads an organization comprised principally of the woman them. The woman them in this organization hold no office. They only hold membership. This office, this organization is led by men. And I want a woman to bring a man. Bring children. Let's march. Let's celebrate. It's our day. Emancipation Day. As I reflected this morning on this great event, I thought about some of the principal characters in the history of the Bahamas. And I recognize that leadership is failing. But thank God I am here. And while I'm here, I want to remind y'all, let's look at some of the principal characters. You would recall that Governor Woodes Rogers, he came to the Bahamas, where he expelled the pirates and restored commerce. I wonder what happened to his statue that once stood outside what is now called the British Colonial Hilton. And then, of course, there's Auntie Maggie, Auntie Vicky. That's Queen Victoria. At the entrance of the Parliament of the Bahamas is a huge statue of honor, in honor of Queen Victoria. And then, as we head further south towards Government House, there is a tall and huge statue of Christopher Columbus, who history says discovered the New World, landing here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So there's that statue. But in Russell Square, I don't know what Darrell Roll and them was thinking. I really don't know. You see why I try to keep quiet? Because once I began to think, the door in my brain began to open, and information which has been long lost and stored there comes out. And I could say things. And the people them can get mad with me. All right? But in Russell Square, Sir Milo has a bus. And then, where is the statue of the first Prime Minister in a modern Bahamas, Lyndon Oscar Pinling? If you were to go to the principal airport in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, namely Lyndon Pinling Airport, and as you arrive at the front gate, Pinling's statue is not there. But yet, his party will celebrate 51 years of majority rule. But I've been to the airport, and as I arrive at the front door, I could not find the statue of Lyndon Oscar Pinling. And so I went in search of the statue. And I ran into a Negro man. I said, they still have Pinling over in the back there? He said, yes, Pinling is there. Pinling is now at the back of the airport. It is in an area where it was put because it was being argued that that was the entrance to the airport and everybody would see Pinling. But the airport has been rebuilt. But in the planning and the opening of the new airport, somebody forgot the father of the nation. It is my hope and prayer that the Progressive Liberal Party, the official opposition, and the Free National Movement, the government, will look at the fact that you can't have an airport named after the founding father and his statue is somewhere to what once was the entrance to the airport. Who will take Pinling's statue and take it to the front door, to the entrance of the airport, which was named after him, Lyndon Pinling Airport? I just thought I would say that. There's some other things on my mind, but I'm not going to say it. Okay? I'm not going to say it. Well, having said that, the newspaper is interesting. They can have me talking dope talk again. That's what I don't like. They're going to have me talking dope talk. As I go down memory lane, I'm going to tell you some story that you was too small to remember. It is not intended to hurt anybody's feeling, but perhaps to give a little explanation as to why some politicians can't talk. Anyway, just relax. I'll be right.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. Thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. Today is Tuesday, the 9th of January, 2018. This is the eve of majority rule. Tomorrow, January 10th, it is a momentous occasion in the history of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and in the history of the Progressive Liberal Party. Well, I'm looking at yesterday's Tribune, and there is a wonderful story that the Tribune has written about comments made by opposition leader, the Honorable Philip Brave Davis. So I'll go to that, because if I didn't, I'll be talking dope talk. And I really don't think that the country should be distracted with all the social mess. We should be distracted talking about raping in the marriage dam and dope. You follow? Because I'm going to come back to dope. Because the FLM, through the punch, is advocating that Andros be the drug field. And I don't know if all the young people in Andros is safe. You can imagine how they'll be teething up all the grass in the bushes of Andros. I don't know. Androsian, don't get mad. But you know, these things are on my mind. So let's look a little more about majority rule, because I need the people them to celebrate it. Celebrate it. Let's march. And when we march tomorrow, let's saunter. Saunter. Take your time. And let's celebrate it. And then after that, let the thousands go to St. Francis Church on West Street to celebrate and commemorate the occasion. And then, of course, there are a series of lectureships which will be taking place at the University of the Bahamas. I think Philip Brave Davis is one of the principal speakers. But back to the Tribune. Davis cites PLP legacy for Majority Rule Day. If you are a PLP and are a citizen, do not be ashamed to discuss your history. It's a rich history. Discuss it. Tell the story. Let the people them know. Because ignorance is a dangerous state of affair. And we want the people them to be ignorant. We want them to know the history. So let's see what the Tribune say Philip Brave Davis said. The story is written by Eva Turnquest. She's the Negro female niece of the current Deputy Prime Minister, Kay Turnquest, Kevin Peter Turnquest. Let's see what his niece say that the opposition leader report. The story goes like this. Official opposition leader Philip Davis yesterday vowed to uphold the Progressive Liberal Party's legacy of majority rule as inextricable from the country's history. Mr. Davis underscored the present government was indebted to the progress, in debt to the progress forged by the Progressive Liberal Party. 1967 general election win. During remarks at a Majority Rule Day service at Agape International, however, he acknowledged the day did not belong to just one party, but to all Bahamians. These memories seems all far and distant, that with many around us today who are trying to turn back the tide, we have an obligation to remind the young that what we have today did not always exist in the way it does today, Mr. Davis said. These stories must be told and embraced by a new generation so that they become their own. The PLP has been too tentative about telling its story, he continued. Under my leadership, said Philip Brave Davis, I do not intend for this to continue. I intend to tell who we are and how we came to be, and how we came to be where we are. Let us never forget they call us those who forget. Let me read that again. Let us never forget. They tell us that those who forget their history are doomed to repeat it. Let me repeat that again. This is what Philip Davis is saying. And this is what the holy people of holy Israel has been taught throughout the millennium. If you ever forget your history, you'll repeat it again. And we can't forget our history because it is important to the survival of the Bahamas. I remind today's government that they are where they are because of January 10th, 1967. He continued. The names of the victorious PLP candidates of the general election of 1967 were Lyndon Pinling, leader, Preston Albury, Clarence Bain, Milo Butler, Clifford Darling, Elwood Donaldson, Arthur Folks, Carlton Francis, Arthur Hanna, Warren Lavarity, Curtis McMillan, Uriah McPhee, Maurice Moore, Edmund Moxie, Jimmy Shepard, George Thompson, Jeffrey Thompson, and Cecil Vincent Wallace Whitfield. I look forward to the day when this holiday and these celebrations will be embraced and accepted for what they truly are by all Bahamians. This day belongs not to one party, but to all Bahamians, Philip Brave Davis said. The government has announced that a Majority Rule Day church service will be held 10 a.m. Wednesday at St. Francis Xavier's Cathedral on West Street. Majority Rule Day became a national holiday in 2014. It commemorates the Bahamas gaining majority rule for the first time on January 10th, 1967. On that day, both the PLP and the UBP, that's the United Bahamian Party, won 18 parliamentary seats during the general elections, with the remaining 2 going to Randall Fox of the Labour Party and Alvin R. Brennan, an independent. Mr. Fox sided with the PLP, helping the party to form the first black-led government. Mr. Brennan, who was a Conquistador Bahamian, became Speaker of the House of Assembly. So tomorrow is January 10th. And tomorrow I have a sister by the name of Manria. She's a charming Negro lady. Her birthday is tomorrow. And then my late uncle, the Reverend Dudley Cox, it would be 30 years since he passed away. So majority rule will be an exciting day for those of us who see it. Please celebrate it and talk to your children about your memories of that momentous day, January 10th, 1967, when, on the eve of the election, historians reported that the then powerful man in the UBP, notwithstanding that Brent Simonet Daddy, the late Sir Roland Simonet, was the premier, there was a powerful man by the name of Sir Stafford Sands. He was the finance minister, and he told the country, according to historians, that as sure as the sun will rise, the UBP will win. The sun did rise, and there was 1818. But finally, Labour and Independent sided with the party of the black masses, and the PLP became the government. 51 years later, we're now talking about whether or not you're raping your wife, and now the country is distracted by it. And we're talking about marijuana, dope. Look what we come down to, eh? Where a prestigious paper like The Punch is telling us how much money we could make by growing grass and pushing dope. It's amazing what we've come down to. But I put my trust in Daniel's God, that this country will not have to survive by pushing dope. You hear me? I just hope. Because if we are to go into growing dope and selling dope, I was trying to read some of these books, because in many of the books that are being written by politicians are many secrets, and I'm an expert at finding secrets. So I took this book and I said, Bradley Roberts must got some secrets here. And by grab, I found a little secret. I don't know if he want me to tell y'all about what he got in this book. But he said, shortly after Brent Simonet became Deputy Prime Minister of the Bahamas, under the third non-consecutive leadership of Prime Minister Ingram, we notice certain tendencies of the new government. First, they immediately approved plans which benefited the 19 families associated with the Bay Street Boys, primarily with the announcement of the location and control of the new commercial harbor. Secondly, they awarded a multi-million-dollar road contract to a foreign firm which had been chased out of Jamaica for inefficiencies. Their only advantage was that from the previous F&M administration, which ended in 2002, a relationship with Deputy Prime Minister Brent Simonet, whose private asphalt company, Bahamas Hot Mix, would become the main beneficiary of the major subcontract by the Argentinian firm. Why am I reading that? Well, if we as a nation must take the dope path to economic empowerment, we need to appoint a commission of inquiry to look at wealth that Brent Simonet family would have inherited throughout the ages. Because let us not forget that Brent Daddy, the late Sir Roland Simonet, there are all kinds of reports written by the FBI over some of his shipping maneuvers. All kind. All kind. And all I say, if the modern Bahamas must push dope, see, if we're going to push dope, then let's investigate everybody who, from in the 1920s straight through, has been dealing in these things. I don't know. I think I'm going to leave it alone and go no further. And I'm going to hide this page in Bradley Roberts' book. But I'm displeased over what is taking place. All these educated Negro politicians, they're talking about legalizing drugs. Then the newspaper asks the Minister of Labor his views. And the Minister of Labor, the Honorable Dion Fowlkes, say he won't comment. I bet you all know why he can't comment. Dion Fowlkes, in the 80s, was a shop steward of a hotel. And one day, Dion went to work. This here is not scandalous. This is not libelous. This comes from the record of the magistrate court here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. You see, as I read the newspaper, and each Negro say he can't comment, or each Negro say he support it, I then go in and say, why is that Negro supporting it? Now, I outside of Dion, I'm not referring to the rest of the Negroes in the paper, only Dion. But principally, a lot of politicians, they can't. See, they know that I remember when they was on a wall smoking dope. See, I remember. See, I remember these things. Coming from school, I run into them, they're smoking dope, right? Some of the grass they smoke had sometime a wonderful aroma. See, I know. And that's their problem. They know anything they touch, I know. So many of them, I don't listen to them. I know why they want marijuana legalized. A bunch of old people still want to smoke dope. And I want them to stop it. But let's go to Dion Folks. Dion Folks is a wonderful man, a trade unionist. He had pressure on management. The next thing we know, Dion Folks goes to work. And the next thing, they show up and say, grass, marijuana in Dion Tingham. You know, where you keep your clothes? Right. And then Dion get charged. You heard me? Y'all was small. Y'all wasn't born yet. And then the rest of y'all either was too high to remember or just forgot. But by grab, Dion got good lawyers. And when they charged him, his lawyers put up a formidable defense and Dion was acquitted. You see? So, he was acquitted. Those no good, worthless people try to set him up. But by grab, he was acquitted. So you see, y'all ain't know nothing about that. Should I tell y'all about the woman who had a little bit of grass in her stockings? No, I'm not going to call her name. I could call Dion. Dion is mad. Let me leave the woman alone because I always believed it was her grass. She wasn't saved then. But now she is saved and sanctified. And I don't think she's smoking any grass now. But before she found the Lord, listen, she could have smoked a weed. But let's leave them things alone. It ain't fair to bring up old story. For all of us have sinned and have come short of the glory. But I'm battling them because I know and I want them to stop smoking dope because they too old. I hate to see old people doing these kind of wicked things. All right? That's what's going on. And so we have to fight it and fight it and fight it and fight it. And I mean the country well, but I don't want the country to be turned into drug plantation. You can imagine everybody growing grass. You'd be just pushing grass on the world. And then we hide and say it is for medicinal purposes. Watch what is happening. All the intellectual, they're coming out now. And they're coming up with these sophisticated arguments. Man, they sound good. I just like to sit down and or hear them and or read what they're saying. Trying to fool 61-year-old Rodney Monker from Black Village, who saw what drugs did to the Bahamas, who knows that marijuana is a gate that leads to hell. They know I am a prince of Black Village. And I know what it did to people older than me and them in my generation. And then our children. And come right down. Now they want to tell me about economic benefit my foot. Huh? Y'all stop smoking dope. Y'all is a bunch of old people. Stop doing what y'all see the foreign white people them doing. They smarter than us. Let them smoke dope in the state and grow dope. Right? If y'all want to grow things, y'all want to do agricultural production, let's grow rice. Let's grow rice. Let's grow corn. Guinea corn. Cassava. Yam. Eddy. And Haitian people, manioc. Let's do citrus farming. banana and plantain. Let's do that. Why do we need to turn this country into a drug field? Huh? You think it's right? I want y'all to stop it. And I want the woman them to listen to me. You need a strong man in this house called the Bahamas who will say the children them ain't smoke no dope. We don't want them to smoke no dope because it's not right. And I ain't listening to them. I ain't listening to the preacher them. I just run into a pastor. Told me I was backward. But because there was some university student, I didn't say to him, Pastor, you call me backward? You call me backward? With your cocaine snorting self? But I didn't say it. Because that pastor could fight. And I old now. And he may punch the hell out of me. Right? If you find Jesus, stay with Jesus. And stop trying to put drugs on this country. They forget I'm 61. I used to see them. They didn't know Jesus yet. They knew cocaine. They didn't know Jesus. When you tell them about Jesus, they couldn't hear that. Because the gateway called marijuana opened in the Bahamas, and it led to serious hard narcotics. Now they come up in 2018 and they say, listen, you're raping your wife, but let's smoke dope. Huh? That's what they coming up with. You don't think I stupid, eh? 51st anniversary of majority rule. We should smoke no dope. I don't care who used to smoke dope. And we will tell our sons and daughters, listen, don't smoke no dope, eh? Don't mind them. Don't smoke no dope. We can live drug-free. I have lived drug-free, and I'm 61. And ain't too many people in my generation has been subjected to the political, social, and economic abuses that I have been subjected to. And not one day did I say, let me turn to coke. Let me turn to marijuana. I say I shall turn to Jesus Christ. And now, y'all want to put drugs on this country? I shall fight y'all. And tell the woman them to protect your children them and your sons. Next thing is they get space out and all kind of psychological problems because we now want to expand the gateway. Marijuana is a gateway. And I'm not competing with people outside the country. You know, I ain't talking to them. I ain't talking to them. They may hear me. I'm talking about the 700 islands, 2,000 rocks and keys, and 100,000 square miles of ocean. Let us not go into the drug business. Let us not use the vulnerability of the United States. You know, the Americans, they love little things, right? No. Let's don't get into no drugs, and let's don't sell no drugs to American. We could sell bone fish to them. We could offer them some other things, but not drugs. You hear me? And I don't want to hear no more about these drugs. Two things I don't want to hear. Leave me with my wife, and let me ravish her. And y'all keep out of my business with your nasty self. That's the first thing. The next thing is, don't talk no nonsense. Other than that, I gonna have to pull out these documents and just read them. They're legal documents. I can't be sued. All right? So you all stop it. Let's go on the blocks and tell our sons and them they must come home and stop being high and giving us heartaches. We don't want our children them to be smoking too much dope. And our daughter had been to a party, and when I saw a certain female, man, she was high. I mean, I just quietly cursed because I knew the sins that was about to take place. But I'm only waiting to see that young man again. And I'm going to say to him, listen, stop it, eh? Don't get a girl no grass. I want you to stop smoking grass. And get married. This is Freedom March. Majority Rule Day. is tomorrow. And I'm the only Negro who's going to fight.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. Tomorrow, Wednesday the 10th of January, the 10th of January 2018 is Majority Rule Day. It is a national holiday throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and there is a great march taking place, and you got to be a taxi cab union. That's the old taxi cab union on Wolf Road, opposite St. Barnabas. Get there from 7 a.m., bring your flag. There's going to be a great march from there to the University of the Bahamas. So I expect everybody to be there. And I call on all the women them and the girl them to be there on time and bring men and boys and children. For I am the leader of the woman them. All right? Now, there's an interesting story in both the newspaper where former protesters, they feel used by Prime Minister, the Honorable Hubert Alexander Minnis. In March of 2016, straw vendors, hair braiders, and other Negro woman them working on Paradise Island were being oppressed, were being denied access to the beach, where hundreds of the tourists them were congregating, having a good time. And the vendors them wanted to sell little things to the tourists, because we know that in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, tourism is the industry. And every time we see tourists, we see bread and butter. We see an opportunity to sell some services to them, some artifacts, some souvenirs. And the greedy people on Paradise Island don't want to share the tourists them with us. They don't want us to make no money. So Dr. Minnis decided that he will take a stand, and he began to mobilize. He encouraged the straw vendors, the hair braiders, other taxi drivers, including the first cousin of the president of the Court of Appeal. You heard me? He encouraged them, and they marched over the bridge in protest, closing the bridge down and stopping tourism from flowing over the bridge. Dr. Minnis then went down in history as the first leader of the Free National Movement to declare, without saying the word, an anti-tourism campaign. Because if you block the bridge and you lay down and you do things like that, it is an anti-tourism campaign. Perhaps it might not be fair to put number one on him, since in the 80s, Cecil Wallace Whitfield had led a march to close down the bridge when it was discovered that Everett Bannister had sold the bridge or knew how it was sold. But Minnis was involved. The police, without regard to politics, recognized that what was taking place, and they moved to arrest the supporters, the protesters, and they took them into custody. And there was all kind of tussle and tugging and so forth and so on, because Minnis felt that a great social and economic injustice was happening to the local Negro vendors. And people supported him. Then there were arrests and charges. Minnis announced that he will accompany the protesters to court. And he invited the masses to support him. The police, recognizing a potential security threat, locked down South Street in the front of the new magistrate court complex, which was built by the first Hubert Alexander. They blocked it down. Minister went to court. When he left the court, recognizing that F&Ms and DNAs and other concerned protesters were charged, Menace made a solemn pledge that an F&M government will drop the charges if they were not completed. And if there are conviction, those convictions will be expunged. There were people who criticized Menace for doing it. I can't remember if I did criticized him. If I did, it was a mistake, because I should not have, taking into consideration that I knew of a precedent which was established by Perry Gladstone Christie and the PLP in 2002. You see, that's the problem they got with me. Don't mind Carl Bettel. Let me give you all a story. 36 years after Pinling, on the 27th of April 1965, took the mace, the symbol of the Speaker's power in the Parliament, and fling it outside onto Parliamentary Square. Almost like my daddy, who was on duty that day with a heavy mace. And it fell down and crashed. 36 years later, Pinling did it April 27, 1965. On the 3rd of December, 2001, 36 years later, a Negro man by the name of Cassius Stewart and his sidekick, Brother Smith, they stormed the House of Assembly, and the F&M was in charge. And they handcuffed themselves to the mace. You remember that? 3rd December 2001. The Speaker, who has the power of a justice of the Supreme Court, ordered their arrest and had the police take them to the nearest police station located right there on East Street, Central Police Station. How I knew? Because I visited those 2 political prisoners. I went to see them. And they were held there. And they were charged in the court. Christie and the PLP made a solemn promise that a PLP government will free Cassius Stewart and the Smith man. And the PLP won in 2002. And so said, so done. Cassius Stewart, who is now an F&M. I believe the last time I checked, Papa had made him a candidate in 2012. Christie in 2002 ordered that the charges be dropped. You heard me? Christie didn't pussyfoot. He didn't. And Cassius became a free man, and so did his colleague. Now, I don't know which came first, Cassius' marriage to the agriculture minister daughter, or his liberation from the charges. So for Carl Bettel to talk of this folly, but the prime minister can't do it, you know what the prime minister wants. Now you go ahead and issue a nolle prosequi, because the case is not progressing. No evidence is being adduced. So stop wasting the court time, and Carl, just do what ministers want. Ministers want the prisoners to be freed. Come on, man. The president is there. Christie didn't pussyfoot. I don't know who was the Attorney General. It might have been Miguel. Alison Maynard. Alison is a smart politician. She knows what the PLP wanted. And Cassius is now a free man. So, Carl Bettel, you have curly hair. Man, Carl got curly hair. Carl got color. Carl been to London. You know who live in London? The Queen. The royal family. Carl went to a prestigious law school. He was educated by law lords, white people from England who knew the law for centuries. They told him that there is nothing greater than the political will of a government. And Carl should do the law and let my people go. Ambadar, he is the caretaker of the FNM. You remember him? Lanisha Roll Daddy, a wonderful Negro man. He told the media he was asleep when his daughter Lanisha woke him up at 5:30 a.m. to tell him that Dr. Minnis say mobilize the people of Baintown and come to Sidney Poitier's bridge. Because of short notice, Ambadar told the media he was only able to round up 13 men. But by grab, they were there, and Minnis incited them. You heard me? And there's nothing wrong with Minnis inciting them because he won. Minnis got them to commit obstruction. Obstruction is anything you say or do that makes the work of the police more difficult than what it is. How do I know? I am one of Her Majesty's justices of the peace. And Minnis incited those Negroes not only to obstruct, his incitation and excitation of the people led, for the first time in the history of the Bahamas, that Negroes stormed Paradise Island and tore down the people them fence. That's what happened. Okay? Now, these men aren't used to being locked up. See, Dion Folks, he is a noted political activist. He knows what it is to be locked up. I know what it is to be locked up. Ambadar, them ain't used to this. And they can't understand it. They got power. For the FNM to be in charge after the man who is the sitting prime minister had Ambadar's daughter wake up Ambadar at 5:30 in the morning to organize and bring people to Sydney. Oh, it's the Sydney Bridge. And we stopped the tourists them from going over. The FNM waged an anti-tourism campaign. Don't mind them talking, you know. They waged an anti-tourism campaign because there was oppression on Paradise Island. And my God, look how long we've been in power. We came to power in May. After May, it's June, then July, August, September, October, November, December. And today is January the 9th, 2018. My God, Minnis, when will your word mean something? You can't just use people. I just complained to Hubert Ingram on Sunday. I said, Papa, I'm watching closely all your men. You hear me? Every man Ingram has, Minnis has given them juice. Juicy steak. You hear me? Papa laughed when I said to him, Papa, I am the only man you have that Minnis wouldn't give nothing to. And Papa laughed. laugh. You hear me? One Papa man who was present was driving a spanking 2017, 2018 car. Will Minis liberate these men? Or will he go down in history as a leader who will use you, who will whine you and grind you, and then dispose of you? It is wrong to ground your man. Oh, Minis, Ambada won't be free. And the rest of the people won't be free. You promised them you have power. Carl Bettel, Minis don't need to tell you what to do. You know what to do. And I tell you, if you don't give them this nolly prosequi, I shall petition Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And I will tell Her Majesty, I don't want you to be the Chief Justice. I can tell the Queen that. And you watch out for me. Once I petition Buckingham Palace, I don't know how it is work, but I get my will. Carl, will you free the man? Minis made a promise. A deal is a deal. This case is not going anywhere. You're wasting the court time. All right? Let's have, just drop the charges. Drop it. Because Minis promised the people them after he incited them. Oh boy, I don't understand what's going on. I just don't understand. I mean, Justice use you. I don't understand it. The Prime Minister just used you. Poor Ambada them. They believe in him. And they went and committed obstruction on the bridge. You hear me? Sidney Poitier, brand new bridge. Now they got power and they don't understand it. Well, I have an idea, which I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to summons Ambada. And I'm going to say to Ambada, come see me. So I can tell you what to do when you go back to court. Just get up in the court. But I'm not going to tell you because I can't take any chances. The court might be listening, and therefore they may preempt Ambada. But it is my prayer that Dr. Minis will stop using the people's dam. So you want a precedent? It's already established. Cassius Stewart, 3rd of December 2001, him and his deputy, they handcuffed themselves to the mace. Ingram was the Prime Minister. Perry Christie was the leader of the opposition. And when 2002 gave the PLP a glorious victory, what did Mr. Christie do? Christie freed Cassius Stewart. And in freeing Cassius Stewart, V. Alfred Gray inherited a wonderful son-in-law. And I think V. Alfred Gray should thank Perry Christie for giving him that wonderful son-in-law. Oh, praise the Lord. Oh boy, it's good to have memory. 3rd of December 2001, Cassius Stewart, him and his deputy, went into the house, grabbed the mace. They handcuffed themselves. And they were arrested and charged. But when the PLP came to power, Christie ordered their freedom. Will Dr. Minis tell Carl Bettel to drop these charges? Huh? A promise is a promise. A deal is a deal. Don't do Ambada like that. Just because Ambada black. Just because Ambada poor. Just because Ambada is from Bintang. Ambada is the caretaker of the F&M. Man is powerful. what is taking on place in the country. Oh boy, this studio is nice and cold. Yeah, the studio is nice and cold. I think I need something hot to warm me down. My spiritual advisor, praise the Lord, is here. Bradley Roll. Welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you, Mr. Monka.
How is the weather? Is it raining?
Mr. Monka, it was a lot of rain. As a matter of fact, the wind started to gust.
The wind started to gust?
To gust, somewhat.
Who did the wind gust?
Well, I was caught up in some traffic. I can't believe I was on the road from 2:30.
Really?
It must be now almost 5:30. That's 3 hours.
So how come? Is that much rain?
You know what
or plenty Negro pedestrians?
Yeah, they see coming forthwith?
What?
Well, someone I should say.
Yes.
The government is going to have to consider a moratorium on vehicles per family on this island.
Just because of the rain?
Well, Mr. Monk,
yesterday when it did not rain.
I believe there were well, I've always believed that just too many cars on this island, Mr. Monk.
Really?
Yeah, man. Yeah, they're going to have to consider
How many cars
that.
would you like on the island?
I think right now we probably have over 300,000 cars and buses on the road.
Isn't that good for the economy?
Well,
How many asking?
Wow.
Don't worry about it, my spiritual advisor. I'm happy that you're here. Did you get wet?
Somewhat.
You got
Somewhat,
wet?
yeah.
What?
Because I was at a restaurant and then I had to leave the restaurant to get my truck because I was running out of time to pick up my daughter. But smartly enough, she phoned me to tell me where exactly on the campus she was so I could drive up together.
This is powerful.
So
So tomorrow is Majority Rule Day.
Yeah, tomorrow's January 10th.
You look like the majority.
Yeah.
Will you
I'm
join
black.
them?
You're in the minority.
Stop bringing up
Are you
color.
in the minority?
Watch me.
You black,
I don't ever
you white.
discuss color. You ever seen me?
You tell me say I look like I'm in the majority.
You do look like the majority.
Yeah, who was in the minority?
How you mean? Bahamians.
The white Bahamians. They coming out to the march tomorrow?
How you mean? If they're not there,
White people don't come out, man.
their descendants will be there.
And who
All
are
these
they?
black people is white people children, Don't mind they look black.
No, people like you.
That isn't true.
There's white people children.
Boy, look here. I got
you
one
a little
black
mix.
man who grandpa. You wouldn't believe his grandpa was a white man.
Yeah.
Until
He
his
black like
mother met a Mandingo. Yeah, she met a Mandingo. So you're going to march tomorrow?
Yes, I will.
Seriously?
Man, this traffic was something.
Will you march tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow's 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock tomorrow.
You can't
right?
come 8 o'clock. We start at 8.
7:30 then.
Yeah. You promise tell the country
And
you're gonna.
let me ask a question. What's the building called? You say tactical building?
Listen. You know where St. Barnabas Church is?
Yeah.
You know where that gas station is on the northern side of the road?
Yeah.
Across from the Chinese?
The building where they sell the sauce?
They sell sauce there too, but I don't
Right.
want to advertise their sauce. They have some good sauce there. Right there?
Okay.
We're going to start from there.
All right.
And we're heading west.
Along Poinciana Drive.
Poinciana, Wolf Road, Poinciana, straight to the
then-
university.
Okay.
And then after that,
Short
at 10
march.
a.m., Dame Margaret Beanling, the Governor General, she will be the patron at a church service at St. Francis. There, the government and the opposition
Oh, okay.
and thousands of Bahamian people will gather to give God thanks for this anniversary. It was peaceful January 10th, 1967. There was no bloodshed. There was no killing. And power peacefully was surrendered to 36-year-old Lyndon Oscar Pinley. And it's now history. And we have seen since January 10, 1967 to August 19, 1992, free and open elections. And we have seen when the party in power loses, it gracefully turns over the reign of power. Isn't that wonderful?
Absolutely, Mr.
And
Monka.
isn't it wonderful?
Yeah,
Can I count on you, my spiritual advisor?
We haven't achieved that much, though, Mr. Monk. I mean, because realistically, when you look at it, the minority still have all the financial power.
Well, it's not over yet. The F&M may make us farmers of marijuana. The F&M may have us selling dope. Lord,
we still in minority,
Mama
Mr.
told
Monka.
me it was a sin. Now I'm an old man. The F&M want us to go into marijuana farming. Marijuana farming my foot, which in the wicked self.
Do you have something to say to the senator? Call Freedom March at 323-7775. Toll free from anywhere in the Bahamas at 242-300-0045. Freedom March with Rodney Monker, only on ILTV. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. My spiritual advisor spent 3 hours on the road.
Traffic.
It was raining, but he was driving. Every Negro came out in the rain. I don't know where all the car come from, but praise the Lord, Bradley. You are safe and sound.
Yeah, and then, of course, you know, we have a lot of Bahamians who can't drive, so I passed about 4 accidents.
Really?
Yeah, man.
What, they were speeding?
2 on the highway.
Wow.
1 on Soldier Road.
Wow.
1 on West Bay Street. Sure, man.
Well, we have to tell them not to speed.
We just don't know how to drive, man.
If you saw one of the newspaper today, I think it is the Nassau Guardian. There are some people who look like parrots. They're at the end of the Guardian. And these people are upset. I suspect that they are citizens of the Bahamas. And since parrots have not historically been Negroes, these are Conky Joe citizens on the front page. They are angry with the F&M. They want a rum festival. And they demand of the government $150,000. I am happy that the government did not give them the $150,000 to buy rum. I am annoyed. As I look at one of the principal characters, my mind is taken 34 years ago when her daddy testified before a blue ribbon Royal Commission of Inquiry into the smuggling of drugs through the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And I remember her daddy and her daddy's son. They testified that there was so much drug money that the money was wet. I never heard about wet drug money until 1984. And they testify that they used to put the money in garbage bag. Now, I used to see them with the garbage bag, you know. But poor me, I thought they was moving garbage. And when they testify how much money, say they told the money in the garbage bag. I said, well, by grab. Conky Joe being smart, eh? They just told the money in the garbage. And I said, oh, Lord, look how these white people them just walking up and down the city with garbage. But that was no garbage, it was money. And the Commission of Inquiry is so wonderful. Notwithstanding their confessions, notwithstanding all the money. Do you know? No government move to have the money taken from them. It's just amazing. It only came to my mind because of what I saw. All right? Anyway, Menace, you get a C today. Anybody who want to have a drug festival, whether or not it's marijuana and or rum, let them go buy their own rum. Okay? Y'all stop it. Anybody on the phone? Hello? I have anybody on the phone? Nobody on the phone? Well, then in that case, I shall now go to some breaking news taking place. The F&M has moved Luther Smith. Luther Smith was the director of the Bahamas Information Services. He was appointed by the Progressive Liberal Party. Well, the F&M has found their man, and they have given us a pastor. So I'll read the statement so that you will know that there is a new Bahamas Information Director. This story comes hot from Bahama Press. And in these days, where the Nassau Guardian and the Tribune are beginning to lose credibility, thank God for Bahama Press. Nassau, Bahamas, veteran radio broadcaster, talk show host, and media and public relations executive, Pastor Kevin Harris, has been appointed Director General of the Bahamas Information Services. Mr. Harris's appointment took effect January 1st, 2018. He succeeds Mr. Luther Smith, who served in the post for the past 3.5 years. Harris is a 20-year veteran in the broadcast and media industry. Mr. Harris worked as a radio personality for a number of radio stations, including 100 Jams, 101.9, Joy FM, Spirit Gospel 92 FM, and Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. He also serves as a radio talk show host and producer for the highly popular and nationally aired radio program, State of Affairs with Kevin Harris. So I thought I'd tell you about that. That Menace now slowly is putting his people in place. I know Kevin. I saw him the other day at a particular place. And I was happy to see that he was kind and gracious to speak to me because I had to case him out. Right? But he has settled his debt. See, he'd owe me $100.
Why'd you bring that up?
And
Jesus.
he then started talking bad about me. Right? And I said to him, I don't mind you talking bad about me, but at least give me the $100 first. And he continued to talk bad about me, and I continued to demand my $100. I had to let him know, listen, my lights were off, and I was having challenges. Things was tough. So after I threw all kind of loaners at him, praise the Lord, he wrote me a banker's check, and he paid me my $100. That's the kind of man I like to deal with. You do a little work for them, they don't pay you, you curse them out. And guess what they do? They pay you. And that $100, when I took that home, and I said to my wife, honey, Pastor Harris has paid me the $100. My darling wife said, well, go down the road, bring 5 pounds of onion, 5 pounds of white rice, and some corned beef. And we had fire engine. We had fire engine. And guess what? I surprised her. I bought some big sour and a bottle of water, and we made switcher. And me and the woman lived happily ever after. So, Harris. Then Bahama Press is reporting that the general, remember the former F&M Assistant Commissioner of Police, Leon Bettel. Well, according to the Bahama Journal, he is the new controller of road traffic. And I want to warn Leon Bettel that Mr. Ingram had appointed a deputy commissioner. And when he went to road traffic, he thought he was above the law. And me, Mr. Ingram, and the Chief Justice, who's dead, we gang him. And we showed him that he was not above the law. I don't know, maybe next week I may discuss that. How we had to serve Alonzo Butler. And Alonzo Butler was deputy commissioner. He said, he ain't taking no summons. And I said to him, Alonzo Butler, do you know who you are? Mr. Butler, do you know who you are? You are the immediate deputy commissioner of police. And I want you to know that my good friend Hubert Ingram gave you this job. You're not going to take it? And I directed the man to drop it. And I took it, a whole affidavit, took it to the Chief Justice, and sent Ingram a copy. So you only know why I like Ingram. Ingram picked up the telephone, and he told Alonzo Butler he better obey it. And by grab, Alonzo Butler came to court. You hear me? Not only him was playing crazy, there were some ministers. The only minister who didn't play crazy was Janet Boswick. She remained law-abiding. She accepted her summons, and she came to court. But all of Frank Watson and them, they were locked the door. I was young, because this was like 1992. And they offered them, said they can take my taxi plate. And I said, you can't take my taxi plate. Pindon, give me this plate. And I said, not only did Pindon give me this plate, Pindon gave Cecil Wallace Whitfield. And then he gave Janet Boswick. Right? Because Philip Smith, the former Minister of Transport, who is in Eleuthera, I went to see him. And he gave me the list. He said, now, don't mind them, eh? See, Janet got 2. Frank Watson got 2 and come back for 1 more. So I said, did you give it to him? He said, yeah. I said, how much does Cecil get? He told me. All right? And when I show up at the FNM meeting in 1988, Dion folks got mad. Say he is an officer of the court and he's not going to have me disgracing his fellow officers. And I told Dion folks, Ching Wong 42. All right? But I just thought, who on the phone? So,
Get some text.
Leon Bettel,
Somebody's there now.
act lawfully because we have precedent. Go ahead, madam. Hello.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Anchor and spiritual advisor.
Yes, good afternoon. How you doing?
Spiritual advisor,
Yes, ma'am.
remember when the lady said yesterday, all you do is just laugh? Tell her, laughing is good for the soul.
Totally.
Okay?
Yeah, and you know, there's never a dull moment with Mr. Monica, so I
That's
mean,
right.
it's
Laughing
difficult
is
not to
good.
laugh.
That's right. Laughing is good and laughing is happy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's right. You all have a good evening.
We
You
thank
do the
you.
same. Thank you so
We
much.
thank you.
Let me read some text, man.
My spiritual advisor read text because, 6 o'clock is coming so quick.
So quickly, Mr. Monica, you love your show, but you repeat the same things over every day. Don't you have new things to talk about, Mr. Monica?
Drugs is on my mind. Go ahead, my spiritual advisor.
Happy New Year, Mr. Monica. Please, can you read a scripture for mothers that are being disrespected? Mothers are being hurt by their children.
Well, listen, I was so devastated when I saw a mother and her son with a whole AK-47. I asked young men, please do not take in your possession illegal weapons. Secondly, do not carry any home, because you might get locked up, man. And to mothers who might be idle, for Christ's sake, y'all don't carry no gun home, or you may cause your decent son to get locked up. Because some mothers could be thuggery. But the possession of guns are against the law. And if the police come and meet a gun, they carry everybody, from the baby to the breast, to mama them. So y'all stop it. If you have a gun and you don't want to get in trouble, just stop by the police station and say, listen, please don't lock me up. I saw the gun and I decided I can bring it here. And who knows?
This is an interesting text, Mr.
Go ahead.
Monica. Hello, Mr. Monica. I'm not familiar with all the laws that are in the Bahamas. Maybe you will be able to answer my question. The Department of Immigration has lost my file with all my documents in them. Because of that, I'm unable to get the naturalization process done, and I'm unemployed. Mr. Monker, question: who will be able, or who's supposed to pay for the same documents that I've submitted before, since they are lost by that department?
There's going to be a bunch of row over it. Just go ahead and do it again. Yeah, they're responsible. First, you can't find your receipt. Can you find your receipt? Secondly, our level of education is such that we even don't ask the person who is interviewing what is their name. Then we don't carry any paper with us or a book to take note of the process. Look, I understand what happened. Get the documents again, and this time when you submit it, make sure you keep a photocopy of all the documents. There's a lot of incompetence taking place in the country, and there's a lot of corruption. Okay?
Good day, Mr. Monica and Spiritual Advisor. Blessings. Wow, please, can we focus on bigger problems? Freeport is hurting. Crime is starting off on a bad foot, and rape in the marriage, smoking, weed, all seem to be smoke screens.
Yes, they are.
This weed and grass talk is not important. Mr. Monica, does the FNM have a real plan to move forward? Feels like the country is not moving. Should we really be scared of for our nation?
Listen, I am afraid for the nation because I do not see an economic plan. And then I'm frightened over the fact that Menace in the Punch, because the Punch speaks for Menace. You heard me? The Punch speaks for the Prime Minister. They're now telling us about how profitable raising marijuana will be in Andres. Cursed be the day when this sovereign nation turn to growing weed as an economic means to take care of our people.
The articles and orders does not apply in the Bahamas anymore. They were swept under the rug. Why have a constitution if you're going to pick through the laws? Paul Adley was a great loss to the Bahamas. No way that could have happened. God bless us all. Articles and orders, yes. Bring forth the Constitution. Articles and orders? What is he talking about?
Well, perhaps he's talking about the Constitution.
Okay.
And perhaps order means the rule of law.
Okay.
Let's give it to him. Go ahead.
I want to send a birthday shout out to Keith Roll. It's from his mom, Norma Roll in Luthra.
Wow.
She's one of the women them. Tell Monica she stays tuned into his show every day. That's birthday shout out to Keith Roll coming in from his mom, Norma Roll in Luthra.
Kate, your mom, isn't she a wonderful lady? She remembers your birth and she sends a happy birthday to you. And of course, I salute a young man who delivered his mother to me. And when he said to me, Monica, my mom, behold one of the woman there, I knew he was a great man. And I said to him, do you accept my leadership? He said, that's why I brought my mother here. And so I thank God that there are thousands of sons throughout the country who accepted my leadership. I'm leader of the woman dam. And tomorrow, I want women them to march on Majority Rule Day because women help to liberate this country. You hear me? I want F&M woman and PLP woman tomorrow.
Why not Bahamians?
And these Bahamians.
Yeah.
Tout le monde haïtien. Est-ce que vous avez citizenship là?
Not Haitians,
Ma
Bahamians.
basement nous pour venir dans masse.
Not Haitians, Bahamians.
Majority Rule Day.
Because we don't go to Haitian
All right?
Flag Day.
So, who's me? Why don't talk no nonsense today?
We don't go to Haitian Flag
Listen.
Day. So
Don't talk no nonsense.
tomorrow's national.
I can't wait for Haitian Flag Day. So, folks, tomorrow, Majority Rule. 2 major events taking place. In the morning, there's the march. And then by 10 o'clock, there's the trade service. The march, well, the PLP is in the lead. The trade service, it's the F&M. And we got 10-2 because it's one people. All right? We're one people. So you got to be to it. Bring your flag. listen to me. Majority rule has led us to independence. The flag, this flag, bring it. Every citizen, bring a flag. You hear me? And nobody tell me where I can get a shirt from. I wear large. So whoever in charge of the shirt, bring me one. Okay? Other than that, I'll have to wear my F&M shirt. And I'm certain the PLP would love to see me in my majority rule
Let's see if
shirt.
we get through these couple of these quick.
Read text, my
Okay, good day, Mr.
spiritual
Monka.
advisor.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Mr.
New Year.
Mr. Monka, I smoked weed before.
Goodness of
right?
mercy. He smoked weed?
And that was high. This is a lady. That was a high I will never forget.
Wow.
And I will never do it again. Mr. Monka,
This is good.
when you smoke weed, you're not yourself.
Okay.
I believe when most guys smoke weed and get into trouble,
Yes.
it isn't them. It is
Okay.
actually the devil, Mr. Monka.
Listen, I believe you.
That weed is something else.
Not only that, the government determines what is drug. The guy went downtown. He sold the tourists flour for cocaine. The idiot thought that once he was arrested, he would not be treated as if he was selling the real thing. If you sell flour, purporting it to be cocaine, the penalty for selling cocaine is identical to the flour. Okay? If you all have to smoke, what the musician talk about, sharper needle. All right? Why? Why smoke ganja? Don't smoke. You should try some 5-finger or some stiff, right? Go ahead, my spiritual advisor. What else we got here?
Good afternoon, Mr. Monka. Question: how can the Defense Force start training? As a matter of fact, yesterday, prison officers, the 2016 squad, still on recruiting, and salaries have not been paid. What Minister Dames doing? Is he responsible for the prison officers?
Marvin Dames, are you still responsible for the prison officers? Because everybody's complaining. The prison officers, they ain't get their money. The police.
Oh, they're saying the 2016 squad is still on recruiting salary.
Okay.
What Minister Marvin Dames is doing? Is
Marvin,
he responsible
what you
for the
doing?
prisoners?
The people them won't get paid, man. And you know the Christmas
I think
just
they're getting
gone.
paid, but they're saying that they're still on the recruiting salary.
Well,
They're now
They've
full-time
graduated.
officers. Yes, you see, they're now
Oh, no,
full-time
Marvin, you
officers.
can't do that. That's against the Fair Labor Standard Act. All right? Pay the workers
Adequately.
adequately.
Good afternoon, Mr. Monk. I want to send a happy birthday to Charles Smith.
Charles Smith.
I don't see where Charles Smith is from.
Okay.
But it just is. Good day, Mr. Monka. January 10th, I celebrate 14 years of marriage.
Wow. Happy marriage.
14 years ago, it rained cats and dogs, but I guess it was showers of blessings, Mr. Monka.
Oh, this is powerful. My sister birthday. One real. Happy birthday. I love you. And you know the couple of dollars that I borrowed from you? I can pay you, okay?
Mr. Monka, I'm trying to figure out if you are safe.
How you mean if I'm safe? Of course I'm safe. I'm safe from drugs. And I'm fighting to close this door that they're trying to open. I can't believe that Menace and the F&M is going to turn the Bahamas into a dope nation. Y'all wrong.
Mr. Monka, I'm wondering, I'm one of the women, and why is it that when your husband died,
Yes?
the light bill is in his name,
Okay.
and the wife have to do a probate in order to get the light in her name,
Okay.
even though we're living in the same house.
Yes?
And after that, the wife was told that she will have to pay a next deposit. I thought
It's
when you get
gangsterism.
married, you join together as one, Mr. Monka.
Well, we have to look at the law. I say if your husband is alive, tell him to put your name now then.
Yeah, I
All
guess
right?
that's the best
They make
thing.
life so technical. Listen, folks, tomorrow is Majority Rule Day. It's a national holiday. Sebas, I working tomorrow?
No.
It's too late. I'm coming to work tomorrow. No, but you're supposed to tell me that yesterday. Sebas, I working tomorrow? Sebas say no.
Tomorrow's a holy day, man.
Okay, well, folks,
Thursday.
they say I'm not working tomorrow, so I'll have to come to work the day after tomorrow. But praise the Lord, it's a public holiday,
Right, enjoy the
and I'm
holiday.
entitled to be paid. in according with the law. Why are you looking at me?
Oh, boy, you're something else.
Sabbats wouldn't want me to take him to the F&M. Because
No?
Papa tell me I mustn't leave Sabbats. And if I don't get paid, I would say, Papa, you're going to have to pay me. You see? Papa, you marching? Is Papa marching? I know Philip Brave Davis is marching. And he's also going to the church. I want all the people them. Let's make this into a glorious occasion. Spiritual advisor, take one of the flag. Right?
Majority Rule Day.
And it's majority rule.
January 10th, 1967.
Man is powerful that I am a part of all the people. Man is powerful. Listen, tomorrow, opposites in Barnabas Church. Get there from 7 a.m. Majority Rule Day. We can march and have fun. All right? We're marching. Oh, we are marching. We are marching. We are marching. We are marching. All the people them. And then after that, we're going to church. Man, the Behemoth flags up.
Oh, really? What time does church service
10
start?
a.m.
Okay, so, okay.
We can march. Whatever I'm marching.
8, that's an hour to march. And
Whatever I'm marching, I am going to church in because I'm a member of the church.
just make sure you don't sweat.
All right? Listen, wave your flag, spiritual advisor. Wave your flag.
Happy Majority Rule Day.
anniversary.
Yes, to the Bahamas.
F&M all together. PLP
Why don't
all
you
the
say-
way.
why not
F&M all together. PLP
Why not Bahamians?
all the way.
Why not Bahamians?
All Bahamians all together. Bring all of us together.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.